When I started stock photography, I looked at many books, looked at tips from the expert, and looked at the stock image websites to find what the images had in common that were best sellers. I came up with an acronym called CIAS. That's C for color, have lots of color, contrasting color, and also when you process them, boost the color. They should be interesting, so it should have a story to it or a meaning to the image. And you should do lots of angles, so don't just shoot straight at the subject. Shoot down, shoot up, shoot through things, and hold the camera slanted sometimes so it gives it an action feel. You should shoot. Don't expect that you can take one shot and it's going to be good. You have to take many shots, all the different angles, then go in close, come out further away, get the model, if you've got one, to do different expressions, and then you can pick the best from those. It's a numbers game, so you really need to do many images and pick the best. And when you're processing, if you add some effects, then you can actually use more of the images. So you get lots of images, and you don't really know which ones are going to sell. I've gone onto Fotolia here, and I've picked some images to show you what I mean. I've picked 5 each for color, for interesting, and for angles. So these first 5 are color. This one here, it's quite a white background, but then they stand out because you've got color in the goggles here and color in the scarves. And it's good to have some color, it just makes everything stand out. The next one is using one color, and you've also got some space here where people can add their own text. But you've got color in here, they've used the same background and actually similar colors, but it's just a different effect. You could have had a different colored background. In this one, it's a business photo, but they've added lots of color. And when they've processed this, they've added quite a bit of extra color to it to add some vibrance. In this image, it would have been quite a boring photo without these balloons because there isn't really much color to it. But with the balloons, you've got a focal point to add that color. And with this last one, it's got the same color, but it does add something to the image. And you've got the same color here as in the background, so it just makes it stand out. These next images are to do with it being interesting. So we've got a phone down here, and adding this part to it has just made it interesting. It's looking at some statistics and it tells a story. This next one here, you've got a story. It's somebody helping someone else outside while they're hiking. And this could be used in lots of circumstances for some inspiration about people who help others, or for trekking and going in the wilds. This next one tells a story. It's some friends having a drink and enjoying themselves outdoors on a sunny day. The next one here showing freedom, people just going into the sea and enjoying themselves, relaxing at sunset. And the last one here, the story to it is working hard, getting fit and getting healthy. These last 5 are showing the different angles, and this angle is looking up, so it's just giving a different feel to the image than if you were looking straight on. This next one is looking down, and it gives the idea of a crowded place with lots of people and everyone busy doing their own thing. This one is concentrating on the one part. Rather than concentrating on the people, we're looking at the computers. And you can do that. You can just pick up certain points from the scene and it tells a different story each time. You could just maybe picture his finger there and that would tell one story, or you could picture her face and that would tell another story. This one again is just concentrating on one part and showing that people are always using their cell phones. So it's just looking at the cell phones. But again, you could have the camera maybe behind the cell phone looking at the face where they were concentrating or happy. You could use different expressions and make lots of shots. It's good to make lots of shots from one setup. And here you really could make a lot. You could look down at this, you could look up through it, or you could look across, just many different ways. If you got the people's faces in this, then you could have so many different expressions. And this last one is looking down, and I like the use of color as well. We've got a black background, red here, and then quite a simplified image. So those are the 5 things. Add some color, get some props that have color. If there's no color in the scene, then you can find some props or buy some props. Make it interesting, think of some stories, and go onto the stock websites to give yourself some ideas of what stories you can tell. Shoot lots of angles. Don't always shoot across at something. Shoot down, up, through, any way you can think of, from behind something, and you can even get objects and just put them in front of the camera to make it blurred and give some depth. Then shoot, shoot, shoot. I heard before that a National Geographic photographer shoots several thousand images just to get one that's good enough for the magazine. And with stock images, it's the same sort of thing. You have to shoot many images to get the ones that you like.